Almost a year after they first met, Sevyn and Valentina promised their love in a sunny courtyard, surrounded by wildflowers, warm light, and the laughter of loved ones. Valentina wore a lace gown decorated with petals and pearls, marking her new beginning. Sevyn spoke his vows with emotion, full of hope and happiness. The reception was lively, with dancing under lanterns, heartfelt toasts, and the sound of clinking glasses. But while everyone celebrated, Tyson felt uneasy. He watched his friend with a bittersweet smile, worried that their quick romance might be moving too fast. He kept his concerns to himself, not wanting to ruin their joy, but the feeling stayed with him, hinting that even the happiest stories can take a dark turn. After the blissful honeymoon phase, Valentina and Sevyn settled into their new life together, reveling in the novelty of shared routines and the warmth of their connection. Mornings were filled with laughter over coffee, afternoons spent exploring the city's hidden corners, and evenings wrapped up in each other's arms, convinced their happiness was invincible. They dreamed of a future bright with possibility, children, travels, a home echoing with joy and music. Their world was a careful blend of fairy tale perfection and the comforting, everyday magic of true love. But one quiet evening, their perfect life changed. Tired after a long day, Sevyn lay on the couch and let a Netflix show help him fall asleep. The TV light flickered on his face as he started to dream. At first, it was peaceful. A beach at dusk, waves on the sand, and laughter. Then a young succubus appeared beside him, beautiful and mischievous. She drew Sevyn into a vivid fantasy, her touch exciting and her words hard to resist. As the dream grew more tempting, Sevyn suddenly felt a wave of guilt. He pushed the succubus away and thought of Valentina, his wife. He pictured her, and the temptress vanished, replaced by the woman he truly loved. When Valentina appeared in the dream, the young succubus stopped, shocked by what she saw. Eyes wide, she whispered, "Impossible." Unable to believe what was happening as fantasy and reality met. The young succubus, still learning her powers and eager to impress others, quickly told her friends what happened. News that the king's daughter loved a human spread fast through the demon world, carried by gossip. Valentina's advisor, LaChapelle, saw how serious this was. She knew the secret could threaten Valentina, the royal family, and the peace of their world. She also realized the younger succubi, who acted without thinking, would want proof, not just rumors. Determined to assess the damage and protect her niece, LaChapelle prepared to enter Sevyn's dream herself. She sharpened her focus, wove a spell of silent passage, and slipped into the dreamscape. There she found a vision crafted by the young succubus, Sevyn, surrounded by a chorus of alluring succubi, all dancing and laughing on a moonlit beach. The fantasy was intoxicating, the beauty of the scene nearly enough to make LaChapelle forget her mission. But beneath her admiration, regret churned, a heavy, sinking feeling that this exquisite moment might be the prelude to disaster. LaChapelle knew she had to act. As the dream continued in a jasmine-scented moonlit garden, she walked among the succubi, memorizing the faces of those involved. She carefully remembered each detail, preparing for what she would need to do next. When she woke up, she had a mental list of those who had gone too far. LaChapelle acted with cold determination, dealing with each conspirator in turn, until only the youngest remained. She found the girl painting in her room, focused on her art. LaChapelle calmly questioned her, asking if she had told anyone else about Valentina. When the girl denied it, LaChapelle became even more resolved. She quickly and without hesitation ended the threat. With steely determination, LaChapelle murmured, "I will not allow anyone to come between my niece and her true love." Her declaration echoed through the night as she slipped out a window, the fire in her eyes unyielding. A guardian, willing to do whatever it took to protect her family's legacy. but whispers of conspiracy and betrayal still wound through the palace halls. Lachapelle's nerves thrummed with dread, a cold certainty that worse trouble was coming. She longed to warn Valentina, but as the second highest succubus in the hierarchy, her duties chained her to the palace. The king, her brother, was absent, embroiled in grave negotiations with Satan in the fiery depths of the infernal court. Each day of his absence ratcheted her anxiety, the tension stretching her resolve to its limit. When the king finally came back, Lachapelle acted quickly. She disguised herself as a human and created a portal surrounded by flames, feeling the heat as she stepped into the human world. She knew time was short and hurried to reach Valentina before their secret love caused disaster. When Lachapelle reached Valentina's home, she felt a chill as soon as she entered. The apartment was dark and quiet, with only the sound of her footsteps on the wooden floor. The sharp, metallic smell of blood hit her first. She stopped at the bedroom door, her eyes widening at what she saw. Valentina's body lay motionless on the king-sized bed, her skin pale and marked with bruises and red welts from a struggle. The sheets were tangled and stained, torn by desperate hands. Pillows were scattered on the floor, one ripped open with feathers everywhere, and a lamp was broken on the nightstand, its base smeared with blood. The scene showed the violence that had taken place, a deep cut along Valentina's jaw, purple marks on her wrists, and a look of terror on her face. The room was filled with signs of despair and anger, with hatred showing in Valentina's expression and the broken objects around her. Lachapelle's heart raced, caught between grief and anger. She forced herself to search for clues, an overturned jewelry box, broken glass leading to the bathroom, blood streaks on the tile, and a muddy boot print by the window. She was determined to find out what had happened and why her niece had been killed. Lachapelle walked slowly through what remained of Valentina and Sevyn's lives until she reached the nursery. The small room still felt innocent, with paintings of clouds and stars on the walls, pastel blankets on a white crib, and toys neatly arranged on the dresser. Sunlight filtered through the curtains, lighting up baby shoes that would never be worn and a mobile spinning quietly. Lachapelle felt a deep ache as she looked at the future that would never come. Knowing Valentina had just given birth to a son made her pain worse. Desperate, she searched through the small clothes and soft blankets, her hands shaking. She had to find Sevyn alive. She noticed the scent of talcum powder mixed with something odd and unpleasant, an oily, faintly sulphur smell that hung in the nursery. Lachapelle was determined to find the truth, so she followed the strange scent out of the apartment and into the busy streets of New Orleans. She moved through the crowds, passing tourists eating beignets and street performers playing music. She kept her focus, following the oily, sharp smell past jazz bars, under iron balconies, and up the steps to the police station. Inside, fluorescent lights reflected off the linoleum floors, and the air was busy with officers, suspects, and civilians moving around. Lachapelle stayed in the shadows near a hallway, her heart pounding as she watched people go by. When two detectives walked past, their scent was strong and familiar, just like in the nursery. She realized this connected the tragedy to these men. Her nerves tightened as she understood her loved ones were now part of this horror. They were there, but which one? Or maybe it was both, Lachapelle said quietly, narrowing her eyes as a sudden shout called the detectives away. They rushed out the front doors, leaving the tension behind. Lachapelle's mind filled with suspicion. The mystery was more complicated now, and she was even more determined to get answers. Later that evening, in a dim hotel room scented with jasmine and leather, Detective Chance Fate stretched out on a rumpled bed and fell asleep. The city's neon lights cast stripes on his bare shoulders as he looked at Lachapelle, her silhouette outlined by candlelight at the edge of the bed. The air between them was heavy with desire and a tense feeling created by secrets. "Thank you for an amazing time. I needed that," Chance said, his voice steady but with a rare hint of vulnerability. He looked at LaChapelle with both awe and caution. "Now, what do you want from me, succubus?" His tone was half joking, half challenging, as if he knew there was more going on than desire. LaChapelle raised an eyebrow, her eyes bright with curiosity. "You're bold, detective, I like that," she said, her voice smooth with a hint of danger. She crossed her legs, letting the sheets slip to remind him of her power. "But I'm not here just for pleasure. I need answers about someone important to me. You were at a home invasion where a young woman was killed. Did you do it? Are you the beast people talk about? If not, why did I find your scent at the crime scene before you were called there?" Her voice was calm but assertive. The accusation hung between them, making the room feel heavier and pulling Chance further into her mysterious world. Chance tensed, sitting up against the worn headboard, his jaw tight. "First of all, I'm human, not a beast," he said, his eyes showing his anger. "Unless you mean in bed, but that's different." He gave a crooked smile, folding his arms as the candlelight flickered over his face and cast shadows. "I was at the scene before being officially called, but I had nothing to do with the crime."